Hello everyone. Firstly, I want to apologise for how sweaty I am because I've just been moving gear around in the room. I'm joined by Max today because me and Max are going to Sweetwater next week because we're representing, well, Max works for Neural DSP, he's the head of artist relations. And I'm going there to represent Neural to do another one of those big sales engineer presentations with Max on stage. So yeah, basically we're just messing around in the studio today and we're going to get tones for the presentation, check it all works. I'll take you through the rig and everything and just kind of fly on the wall document how we get there.
Yeah. So essentially we're recreating Rabea's stereo rig that he's used for Tosca, Dorje, everything I've ever worked with him on. But I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could get it all in the box, in Quad Cortex, and then you can fit that in a backpack. That's the point. So we're going to start by controlling this crazy dual super cracking rig, so get some pedals involved, get some captures of it, and then we're just slowly going to take away cables until we're left with just QC and a couple of XLRs, and the tone will be exactly the same it will be as if we're stood in front of this rig. So pretty exciting being able to fit your rig in a backpack.
Really quickly, these are the VX100 Super Kraken. These are the two that I was using, that I've had when they came out. These are the ones we use at download. We're using the two SIRs on top, which are basically there, I guess, to capture the unfiltered head sound so we can mess around with cab sims after the fact. Max has basically completely dismantled my Frog Leap board, as you can see on the ground. We've incorporated this Midi splitter here, which is sending Midi out from QC, and then these go out to the Super Kraken so we can control them via Midi. We're going to get rid of these pedals and put more appropriate pedals for the presentation on the board alongside maybe something we can capture. There's also a little patch bay on the side.
Putting 2.0 on it.
So 2.0 is about to go on. Quick rundown of what 2.0 can do.
It introduces hybrid mode, an IR loader and audition block. Completely has redesigned the directory, so file management is super easy, much more sensible, and actually there's been an overall overhaul of like how the UI system works, so now everything feels a bit quicker, a bit snappier, like it really feels like Quad Cortex 2. Got like legacy pedals, a few routing options that are super cool. It's global EQ. Yeah, it's rad.
Basically both amps are hooked up with the SIR reactive loads. You're getting the line out of those reactive loads into QC, which I think Max can add a cab block to.
Yeah, so each...
Come here, man, come here. Let everybody know what you're...
But I'm looking at the thing. So each amp has been sent back, the effect sent from the amp has been sent back to QC, and we're then running that via... So we're doing a split, which then takes the unfiltered preamp tone of the amps, and we can run it through a capture of a power amp. At the moment I'm running it through a cab block, so we can obviously control which IR is there, and then also an EQ just for like fine tuning. And then the other output, where we've taken the split from, returns back to the power amp of the amp, so that we're using the amp's power amp, we're using the amps, we're using the cab, and then obviously the SIR reactive load here if we wanted to take a capture. But yeah, it's true stereo, wet, dry, wet, can do whatever you want with it. It's
Wunderbar.
So we are putting this on the pedal board, and I've run Rabea's little patch bay here on the side in the exact same fashion. It was for Frog Leap set up differently to include some like pre-effects and post-effects. We're going to do that differently here because we need these 6 outputs to control 2 amplifiers, which you don't need for Frog Leap, do you?
No. In terms of stomps in front, I'm going to use the light speed as like a boost, overdrive vibe. We've got the Bender fuzz because it's sick, and then I'm using the synth one because although there isn't like my synth as in the Overlord synth from the plugin, they've got different synths in QC, but I wanted one that I could riff with, which they don't currently have. I've mic'd up the Victory cabs with, that's like an SM7 vibe, and I've got a 57 on this cab, and yeah, we should just mess around and see what it sounds like. So what I'm doing now is just messing around with tones because Max is having a quick meeting, so I've got it rigged up. I can mess with all the scenes and create different effects patches within QC, and it's affecting my Krakens, so I can basically just mess around and dial in how much of reverb and delay I want for each scene, and let's say compression as well. There's a bit of compression on this. change of plan. We were going to use the Greer, but Max miscalculated how many powers he was going to need, and basically now we have to sacrifice the Greer for the MIDI selector. It's not the end of the world, but these things happen. Right, so we've actually managed to get it working with MIDI really quickly. For all those wondering, it's a program change scenario where basically you want Quad Cortex or any MIDI controller to be sending a program change. And then with the Kraken, it's super easy because on the back you've got a little junction box to select what MIDI channel you're on, and then outside of that you're just selecting what you want the amp to do, hitting store, and it works in accordance with the program change you've selected. So that was really quick and easy. So I'm going to show you in real time. On program change number 1, or PC message number 1, I want my effects loop on. I'm assuming we're on PC number 1, aren't we? Yeah. Effects loop on, clean, gain 1, master 1. So I've selected it on the front panel. If I go around the back and I hit store, like that, and then we move to program change number 2, I then select what I want it to do. So I want crunch, I want that on like that. Go around the back, hit store. So now that I've done that, when Max flicks between program change number 1 and number 2, you can see the crunch light comes on. So that's as simple as it is. You choose what you want on the front panel, press store on the back, and that's it.
12 sleepless hours later.
Okay, day 2. Today what we're doing, well, firstly we've tied it up and we've taken the cabs off the floor. So they're decoupled from the floor now on these cab stands basically, and we've put them horizontal. It's pretty sick actually, like horizontal cabs, but reason is it's better for miking up, so the microphone stands out picking up all the resonance from the floor where the cab would be. So yeah, so we've done that and we've actually designed the tones, so everything's being controlled with QC via MIDI with the Krakens, and I'm running a EQ inside QC that I'm messing around with per preset, which is really nice, which you can do. So I've programmed the EQs per channel of the amp, as well as we've got stomps going in front. So we're going to capture now. Well, we've captured a channel, and the idea is that we're going to be able to flick between the capture of the amp and the amp itself coming out of the cab, and it shouldn't be different at all. So we're going to test that now and see how well we've done. I've run in here and monitoring in here, and Max is changing between the capture and the real amp. We've taken the real amp signal from the SIR line out. Change it. Change it. Sorry for the really stupid thing to play, but change it. Change it. Change it again. Is that the amp?
You're currently on the amp, yeah.
Oh! I'll be honest, I was guessing completely. I mean, that's so close. It's been a long day. We're nearly there. What we've actually got to this point now is we've captured all the channels from the amps we want, and what we're doing now is incorporating the captured version alongside the real version of the Krakens. Max, quickly take us through it.
So we're running QC in hybrid mode. So this is a new mode coming with CorOS 2.0, which should be out by the time you see this video. So along the bottom we have scenes. So these are our clean crunch rhythm leads.
And you can see the amps changing when we do that.
So we're sending MIDI with these ones.
Yeah.
And then across the top here are stomps. So this one controls our pitch. This controls, well, it did control something that we've moved. This one is the interesting one. This turns off the effects loop, which is the amps, and then engages the captures that we've just done. So if I hand Rabea this cable. So at this point, we are changing between the real amp with my real Krakens in stereo, so you should hear this on the mics. And now the captured version. Now we just need to do the same thing to the crunch, the overdrive, and the lead. And then we're good. That's great.
What a day. So I think we're done. I think for the most part. I mean, we have to just build these last couple of presets, but it's the same principle across all the presets we're making in terms of comparing between the real amp and the capture we've made. And then I think there are basically 3 big presets, aren't there? There's the one that's all amp, controlled by QC with effects in a loop.
Yep.
Then there's one that's kind of a hybrid of the two, isn't there, where we can flick between.
So we're flicking between the captures that we're making live, so that you can hear how accurate it is, and it's still running through the same stereo rig.
Yeah. And then the third one is all captures.
No amps involved.
Yeah.
They're just kicking cabs.
The distilled stereo rig, but just captures inside QC, and we can still use the same stomp, so it's identical rig but all digital instead of analog. So.
And then there's one last one.
There's 4, is there?
The 4th one is the backpack rig.
Oh, yeah.
So if preset 3 is all captures, all digital, but going into cabs, sometimes you're not going to have the luxury of having your cabs. I'm sure you've had this at clinics and other stuff. So the idea is this entire rig will exist in the box, and so you just run 2 XLRs to front of house, just DI'd.
Right, okay. Sick. Have you enjoyed yourself?
It's been great, yeah. It's always fun to hang out at Casa Nabsy.
So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I've basically just turned the camera on, recorded what I could, and sent it all to John. So hopefully he'll fix it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, one of the first videos shot in the new studio. I'm really excited so far. Let me know if you enjoyed this video in the comment section, and if there's anything else you want to see us do down here. Mess around with amps and modelers and stuff like that. But anyway, I've been Rabea. Hope you're all well, and I'll see you all very soon. Say bye, Max.
Bye bye.